Hey everybody, my name is Tim, welcome back to the channel and welcome to Procedural Puzzles Part 2. So the first one was a big success and I got a lot of solutions sent in and it was just super cool and I want to do this more often. So here's the second one. I'm gonna try to make this maybe a monthly thing or something like that. If you don't know what Procedural Puzzles is yet, you can check out the first one I did with a link in the description. But essentially what it is that I give you guys a Houdini file with a piece of geometry in there. And then I pose a problem. For example, the previous one, you had to take the input geometry and you had to swap out to the geometry that was that was on the input geometry. And it had to keep the same orientation, same scales, same colors, all of that kind of stuff. So that was the first puzzle. And it was really cool to see everybody send in their solutions because every single solution was completely different, which is really cool to see because if you just go through all of the HIP files, you can really learn a lot by seeing how everybody approaches the problem differently. So this new procedural puzzles is actually based on a problem that someone in the community had, and it was sent over to me by someone else. So Louis Manjares, he saw the first procedural puzzles and he sent me a message on Facebook like, look at this problem, like this might be cool for a new procedural puzzles. So I had to look at the file, and it was the HIP file was by Tetsuo Oshima, and I'm going to show you the problem in a little bit. And I tried the problem myself, so I tried to come up with a solution of this myself, and it's just it's a really interesting problem, and I really think this is a great. It's sort of a great production scenario, and this is something that you might run into in production, I guess, every now and then. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see what everybody comes up with. Just like last time, there's going to be a prize, so you can win $50 worth of Bitcoin if you participate, and the winning goal is going to be different from last time. So last time, the first person to send in the winning solution would win. The problem with that was that a lot of people were like, I'm in a different time zone. I'm at work. I only saw the video like 3 hours after you uploaded it. And the winning solution was already sent in within 30 minutes. So that wasn't really ideal. So what I'm going to do with this puzzle is that the most optimized solution is going to win. So you can take your time optimizing, and then when you're happy with the result, you can send it in. And then if yours cooks the fastest, then you're the winner. So I'm going to be the one performance testing all of the files. And of course, I know performance can really depend on your hardware as well. So as a reference, I'm running a Threadripper 3970X. With a NVIDIA RTX 3090, which is probably not going to be relevant unless you're going to do something with OpenCL, then maybe it might be relevant. So just keep that in mind that I'm going to be doing the performance testing. And of course, I am on a system with a lot of cores. So if you make for example, if you make something on a very high clock speed machine and you have something which uses a lot of single core nodes and it's not well threaded, then it might, for example, perform really well on your system and maybe not as great on my system. But I have to measure it some way. So I'm gonna measure it on my machine. If there are two files that are going to be very similar, I'm going to measure it on another system as well. So I'm going to try to do a fair comparison. That's going to be my older system, which is an Intel 6900K. Which is an 8-core machine, with a relatively low clock speed. Hopefully that should be a fair comparison, but just work on your file. Just try to make it as optimized as you can, and then hopefully you'll win. All right, so without further ado, let's just put on the headphones, and then we can jump right into Houdini and have a look at the problem. All right. So here's the input geometry, and again, this is from a HIP file that was sent to me by Louis Manjares, and the input geometry is from Tetsuo Oshima, who posted this problem in the Houdini group. Apparently, I didn't see the original post, but that's where it came from. And essentially what the goal of the puzzle is, let me just show you my solution. So essentially the goal is to draw curves inside of this geometry. So if you have a look at this geometry, you can see there's going to be curves that are going to be in the center, or roughly in the center of this geometry. My curves are not completely in the center of the geometry. As you can see, they're sort of roughly following it, but they're not completely in the center of all of these things. So that's not going to be a requirement, else I would have filled my own puzzle. But essentially the goal of the puzzle is to create curves inside of each of these tubes. And the point order should also be in the direction of that the curves are. So if you put a sweep node on there, you can see that my curves, if I sweep them, they are actually following the same sort of geometry, where the thin parts are thin and the thicker parts are thick. So the point order for that needs to be correct as well. So you cannot have one be thick over here and then thin over there. So you need to have a check for that as well. So the way I'm going to be measuring this is that I also have if I highlight this, I've copied this thing a bunch of times here. So this now in total has over almost 1.5 million points. And I am going to performance monitor based on this thing, because of course, just having it on one of these things is quite fast. So that's why I copied them a bunch of times over here, and we're gonna be performance monitoring that. So make sure that your caches are cleared before you do your own performance monitor. So open your window cache manager, be sure to clear your caches. So then it doesn't have any leftover geometry cache there. So make sure this is highlighted. So this part is already cooked, because you don't want to measure the copying as well. Good, it should have already been done. You're going to put the switch. You're going to go to performance monitor. No, I'm not going to put to distant. No, I don't want to put a light. No, what am I doing? All right, he's going there again. All right, let me turn off lighting. Oh, Tim, what are you doing? Remove the light. All right, there we go. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to go to your performance monitor. You can go to switch here. Performance monitor, you're going to press record, and you're going to highlight your solution. So this is going to cook. This is going to take a little bit longer than, of course, it was before. I'm going to blur all of my resulting nodes that are going to be here in a bit, by the way, because, of course, as you can see what I used, which is not, which you're not supposed to. All right, there you can see my solution cooked in about 18 seconds. I think it was like 16 or 17 before, so maybe it's because I'm recording. But anyway, mine is around 18 seconds. So essentially this, your final solution to be cooked, so the last node in your solution, essentially sort of the full thing. So if you make a subnetwork of it and you cook that one, this is going to be your result. And the one with the least time, so the lowest amount of time cooked, based on all of this input here, is going to be the winner. So I think should be you should be able to do better than me, because mine is not necessarily the most optimized solution. So let's see how well other people will be doing. But I think there's quite a lot of room for improvement in my solution. So again, what you need to do is you take the input geometry and you put it to 0. Let me stop recording. And then essentially you just draw curves in this thing. The point order should be correct, so you can actually so if you sweep that, you can actually sort of sweep across this thing. So that should be the same. There should be one for every curve. Again, they don't have to be completely in the center. If you can make that work, then by all means do it. But just I didn't make that work. But if you can, then it would be even better. So yeah, that's essentially the puzzle. So one more rule is that you cannot use third-party HDAs and you cannot use SideFX Labs. You can only use the Houdini core tools. And there might be some additional rules that I didn't include in this video. So make sure to read the description of this video, and all of the rules will be written out there. So if I missed anything in this video, just read it and make sure that your file adheres to those rules. So if you want to send in your solution, do that on Twitter by tagging me. My social media handle will be in the description, and put hashtag Procedural Puzzles on Twitter as well. So make sure to just attach your solution there. It would be nice if you can make a video of your solution as well, but that's not a requirement. If you don't have Twitter, you can also just email me. My contact email will be in the description as well. Of course, it will be fun if you do it on Twitter, because then everybody can go through the hashtag and see all the solutions coming in there. But if you don't have Twitter, you can also just send me an email. I'm going to try to respond to every single tweet. So if I don't respond to your tweet, then I might have missed it. And then just make sure to tag me again, maybe in a comment. So to make sure that I've actually seen your solution, so I can actually go through every single one. Same goes for email. I'm going to try to respond to every single solution that I get. And if you don't get a response within like a day or maybe a day or two, then make sure to reply again to make sure that I've actually seen it. So with that out of the way, I wish you good luck with this new puzzle. Hopefully you'll win $50 worth of Bitcoin, and check back in about a week with the solution video with my own solution, and where again, I'm going to go through a couple of your solutions and maybe some other stuff. We'll see. Hopefully I'll see you in a week.